How is everyone? We're good? Excellent. We're headed to the end of the day. I just want to make sure everyone was still with me. So yes, thanks, Chris. My name is Diane Cabral. I'm a unit director with the OPG Local. I'm also a member of Society's Pride and Solidarity Committee. And as a member of the Pride and Solidarity Committee, I have the honor of presenting our guest speaker. So Anita Bryan became a Woman of Steel in 1996 as a member of the USW Local 9042 at NTN Bearings in Mississauga, Ontario, where she quickly emerged as an advocate for her colleagues. Rising to unit president in the early 2000s, she honed her skills in grievance handling, collective bargaining, and arbitration, all while navigating challenges as a Black queer woman. In 2007, she became Woman of Steel coordinator for USW District 6, where she led initiatives to enhance women's participation and leadership in the union. Anita's dedication to empowering others continued when she became USW staff representative in 2010, working closely with local unions, promoted to area coordinator in 2018 and District 6 coordinator in 2022. Anita has consistently championed workers' rights, women's leadership, and equity in the labor movement. Her involvement extends beyond the USW with significant contributions to the Ontario Federation of Labor and Canadian Labor Congress, making her a powerful advocate for marginalized communities and social justice. Please join me in welcoming Anita Bryan.
I'll use this here. Okay. Good afternoon. Oh, my glasses. I need those. Thank you so much. Okay. So, I'm Anita Bryan. You got that. Not Anita Bryant. If anyone's old enough to know who she was. There'd be no pie throwing here. So, thanks for inviting me here today. And it's an honor that I'm going to get to speak about two remarkable initiatives that we have within the United Steelworkers that's going to shape the future of our union. And I mean, I came earlier today and got to hear the anti-Black racism, and I just want to go back and talk a little bit about that because I was really impressed in the presentation that you did, and it's some of the work that we're doing in the union because I take care of all the different committees within our union. But I believe that I got to where I am today because of my ancestors and because of growing up, and especially in Cape Breton, in Nova Scotia, and Africville, and the things that we went through there, and there were powerful Black women that made me who I am today. So thank you for your presentation. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our Next Generation program, and it was great to see the youth up here. I am the Next Gen coordinator. I'm not under 35, I will admit, but I am the Next Gen coordinator, and we have a member who's a coordinator as well. But in 2011, 2014, and 2017, our next generation of workers submitted resolutions to the floor of our international convention. This started a movement within the United Steelworkers that our young workers wanted to be heard and wanted to start to participate. So the program started to take form. So those resolutions, they were persistent, and they came back year after year and brought those resolutions to the floor to build on the original resolution that they had. So our Next Gen program became a cornerstone for our union's commitment to cultivating our future leaders. This initiative is designed to empower young workers by providing them with the knowledge and skills and opportunities necessary to continue the legacy of activism and advocacy that defines the United Steelworkers. So through workshops and conferences and hands-on experience, the Next Generation program ensures that our union remains vibrant and resilient. This program is just not about training, it's about building the community and engaged and passionate individuals who are ready to take on the challenges of tomorrow. By investing in our youth, we are securing the future of our union and ensuring the values of solidarity, fairness, justice, and will continue to thrive. And through that Next Gen program, those young workers came together and developed a program called the Next Gen Mentorship Program. And so to talk about the Next Gen Mentorship Program, they wanted to learn from who we will call the legends, people like me with the gray hair, but they wanted to learn from the past, and they wanted to bring it into the future and change what the future was going to look like. So our mentorship program, we sat down and they put a program together working with myself and actually our women's committee, the Women of Steel, because the Women of Steel started a little bit before them where they wanted to be heard in our union. So they developed a program, a mentorship program, and in that program, that mentorship program, we came up with there's going to be a learner who would be our next generation and somebody from a diversity group, from an equity-seeking group, and we came up with a mentee. And the mentee was somebody who had experience already in the union, and it depended on whether it talked about health and safety or whether they talked about being a steward or if somebody was in a leadership role or even a member on the floor who just wanted to participate but didn't feel like they had that voice or that power. So that's how we developed a mentorship program. So like I said, as District 6 coordinator, I get to oversee the program for USW, and I'm really impressed with the unwavering commitment that our next generation has in our union. But when I was in the union, what I noticed was there wasn't a lot of people that kind of looked like me, and there wasn't a lot of people who were gay or out in our union because I came from a very male-dominated union, right? I'm talking United Steelworkers. It was mostly miners back then. So the union was changing over the years. So I want to talk about something that's close to my heart, and our union's commitment to embracing diversity and inclusion in the union. So joining the union in 1996, I was active and participated in my union, and I attended membership meetings, took part in educationals, became a shop steward, and eventually became the local president. Then I became a facilitator for our union and went around the province teaching different courses. What I noticed was there's not a lot of people that was from the rainbow community, and so I didn't really feel comfortable because I wasn't sure if I can be who I really was, because my community was right here in Toronto, Church and Wellesley. But being in the workplace, I had to separate the two. So I joined the union in 1996, and I was active, but I wasn't overly active. But in 1994, the Canadian Labour Congress on their convention floor debated about two policies, and they were around gay and lesbian rights. They were finally endorsed, and so now people were talking, because Canadian Labour Congress being a bigger umbrella with all the affiliates, so the affiliates are coming back and they're starting to talk about that in the workplaces and in our unions, right? My local, they knew exactly who I was. I didn't have to hide within my local. So in 2006, my local president put a motion on the floor to send a delegation to the first World Out Games and the International Conference on LGBT Human Rights. It was in Montreal, and I was selected to be the delegate because I was, out of 150 people, the only person that was out in the union, right? So I became a delegate, and I ended up going to the first conference in Montreal, which we have members that are now gone to ILGA this week. And so that was the start of me getting even more participating in the union and talking about gay rights in the union and being able to push. I mean, it took me years to fight United Steelworkers to say, like, why are we not part of ILGA? And so it was only in 2022 that we became part of ILGA. So we were doing a lot of talking, but we weren't really doing a lot of walking, right? So then here we are today, and the United Steelworkers now has Steel Pride, and we have the National Pride Working Group, which are shining examples of our commitment to fostering an inclusive environment where every member feels valued and respected. These committees work tirelessly to ensure that the 2S LGBTQIA+ members have a voice and a safe space within the union. Their efforts remind us that our strength lies in our diversity, and that embracing our differences, we become more resilient and a united force. So in District 6, we are proud to have a dedicated trans liaison who advocates for the rights and needs of transgender members. Mason Falk, which some may know because Mason sits on the Ontario Federation Solidarity and Pride Committee. When we developed that program and Mason sat down to work on that program, Mason actually gets a lot of calls from a lot of different unions to go out and talk to their members with issues that they have that's going on. So Mason, along with our Solidarity Pride Working Group, developed a USW Workplace Transition Guide. This role is critical in addressing the unique challenges faced by transgender individuals in the workplace and ensuring that they receive the support and respect they deserve. The presence of a trans liaison underscores our commitment to creating an inclusive environment where everyone can thrive. However, our work doesn't stop there. It is essential that we continue to mentor and include diverse groups within our union. Mentorship is a powerful tool that can help bridge the gaps, build understanding, and foster a sense of belonging. By mentoring the 2S LGBTQIA+ members, we can provide them with guidance and support that they need to succeed within our union. This not only benefits the individuals, but also strengthens our union as a whole. Inclusion is not just about representation. It is about creating a culture where every member feels seen, heard, and valued. We must actively work to break down barriers and create opportunities for all members to participate fully in our union activities. This means listening to the voices of our rainbow community and understanding their experiences and taking concrete steps to address their concerns. So, what strategies has Steelworker Pride and National Pride Working Group been focused on? So 1, creating inclusive policies. So develop and implement policies that explicitly encourage diversity and inclusion. Ensure that these policies are communicated clearly to all of our members and are reflected in all aspects of the union. Diverse committees. So forming committees and working groups that are intentionally diverse. This can include setting diversity goals for representation from different demographics such as gender, race, age, and sexual orientation. Training and education. Offer training programs on diversity, equality, and inclusion. Educate members and staff about the importance of diverse perspectives and how to create inclusive environment. This can help break down the biases and build a more welcoming culture. Our mentorship program. The USW implemented a mentorship program that has a peer experience membership and new activists, preferably from unrepresentative groups, and mentorship can guide and perform and support our diverse communities. Encourage open dialogue. So create safe spaces for open dialogue where members can share their experience and ideas without fear and judgment. This can be done through regular meetings, forums, and online platforms. So recognize and celebrate diversity. Acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of diverse members. This can be through awards, recognition programs, and highlighting their achievements in a union. Ensure accessibility. Make sure that all union activities and decision-making processes are accessible to everyone. This includes considering physical accessibility, language barriers, and providing accommodations. Actively recruit diverse members. Proactively reach out to unrepresentative groups and encourage them to take on leadership roles. This can involve targeted recruitment efforts and provide support and help them succeed. So the Steel Pride and the National Pride Working Group, this is the strategies that they had put together, right? So following these strategies, it brings a multitude of benefits that strengthen our union. So when we include diverse voices in decision-making, we gain a wider range of perspectives. This helps us to see issues from different angles and consider solutions that might not have been apparent otherwise. It ensures that our decisions are well-rounded and take into account a variety of experiences of our members. Bringing together people from different backgrounds, experience, and ideas, we can foster creativity and innovation. This can lead to more effective and creative solutions to challenges we face in our union. When members see that their voices are heard and valued, they are more likely to be engaged and active within the union. This increased engagement can lead to a stronger, more cohesive union where members feel a sense of ownership and commitment. A diverse decision-making body is more likely to represent the interest of all members. This ensures that the policies and initiatives we implement are fair and equitable, addressing the needs of their entire membership rather than just a select few. When we actively include diverse voices in our decision-making processes, we build and respect our union. We build respect within our union. Members feel valued and respected, which strengthens our solidarity and unity. Embracing diversity in decision-making efforts is our core values: equality, fairness, and inclusion. It demonstrates our commitment to creating a union that truly represents and supports all members. So, lead by example. Union leaders should model inclusive behavior and demonstrate a commitment to diversity. When leaders prioritize value diversity, it sets a positive example for all of our members. So this brings me to allies. Because looking at our union and the leadership in our union, I can tell you that it was just now, 2024, we've been unionized. Steelworkers has been around since 1942, so 83 years we've been in a union. We just now, the first time in 2024, have our first black director. So you think about that, 80, right? In 2023, in our union, we have our first female director. Right? So you think about that, 80. So if we weren't having these conversations before, you know why? Because there's no movement. But because these conversations are starting in 2000, and I would say it probably started around 2008, because these conversations are starting and because we're doing things differently, because we have to recognize that our membership is changing, things are starting to change. Leadership roles are starting to change. We need to give the tools to our members so that they can make change. So let's get back to the allies. So this week, our National Pride Working Group hosted a virtual meeting inviting our Rainbow community and allies to be part of a special allies edition of Steel Pride Network. So it was time to hear from the allies about the National Pride Working Group, to learn more about the Rainbow community and to make workplaces better for all steelworkers. This was a time for questions and answers and how allies can play a critical role in promoting diversity and inclusion within our union. Their support and advocacy can help with a more inclusive environment for everyone. So here are some ways that our group came up with that allies could help the working group and help within our union. So they needed to educate themselves. Allies, they asked questions, and then we came back and we put that all together in a presentation. So educate themselves. So allies should take the initiative to learn about the experience and challenges faced by underrepresented groups. This includes understanding issues related to race and gender, sexual orientation, disability, and other aspects of diversity. Education can come from reading and attending workshops and engaging in conversations. Speak up. Allies can use their voices to advocate for diversity and inclusion. This means speaking up against discrimination, biases, and inclusion when they see it. Allies can also amplify the voices of the unrepresented, ensuring that their concerns and ideas are heard. Support inclusive policies. Allies can advocate and support implementation inclusive policies within our union. This includes policies related to hiring, promotions, workplace conduct, and accommodations. By backing these policies, allies can create a more equitable environment. Mentor and sponsor. Allies can mentor and sponsor members from underrepresented groups. Mentorship provides guidance and support, while sponsorship involves actively promoting and advocating for the advancement of these members within the union. Create a safe space. Allies can help create safe spaces where members feel comfortable sharing their experience and their ideas. This involves fostering an environment of trust and respect where everyone feels valued and included. Challenge biases. Allies should be willing to challenge their own biases and those of others. This includes recognizing and addressing unconscious biases that can impact decision-making and interactions within our union. Participate in the diversity initiatives. Allies can actively participate in diversity and inclusion initiatives such as attending the events or joining committees and supporting campaigns. This involvement helps demonstrate a collective commitment to these efforts. Listen and learn. Allies should prioritize listening to the experience and the perspectives of the underrepresented. This includes being open to feedback and learning the insights and shared by others. And model inclusive behavior. Allies can lead by example by demonstrating inclusive behavior in their interactions and decision making. This sets a positive standard for others to follow and helps build a more inclusive culture. And build relationships. So allies can build strong, supportive relationship with members from diverse backgrounds. These relationships can foster mutual understanding and collaboration, strengthen the union as a whole. By taking these actions, allies can significantly contribute to creating a more inclusive and supportive environment within our union. These efforts help ensure that all members feel valued, respected, and empowered to continue to the union's success. So as we move forward, let us remember that our union is only as strong as the solidarity that we build among our members. So when we had this National Pride Working Group and we invited the allies and they had several questions, we came back and we put together, here's what we're presenting to the allies. And so we've now set up a website where the members can go and allies can go, and we have all this listed on our website so that, they might have heard us, but they may not have taken any notes, but they can go and they can ask questions. We also developed a program where, the use of pronouns, how important the use of pronouns are. And so we developed what we call postcards. And those postcards in every single education that we do, every conference that we do, those postcards go into those kits so that they can get the information that they need and the importance of pronouns and stuff like this here. So, through this here mentorship program, these are the things that our learners came up with to ensure that the union as a whole are listening to us and are listening to, our young members, our 2S LGBT community members, so that we can move forward in the union and strengthen our union. So in closing, I urge each and every one to take an active role in promoting diversity and inclusion within our unions. Get involved and become a mentor or an ally to your fellow members. Together, by prioritizing diversity and inclusion, we can build a union that truly respects and supports all our members, paving the way for a stronger, more resilient future. Let us continue to work towards our unions where every member, regardless of their background or their identity, can thrive and contribute to our collective success. Thank you. Any questions? I'm open.
And look at that. We're right on time again.
See?
Thank you, Anita. Any questions for Anita?
It's only from Cape Breton, and we speak really fast, East Coast. Because I did time this, and it was a lot slower, but, you know, once I get going.
So it's actually not a question, but just a comment. Thank you for the work that you do. For everyone, for our members, because we are representatives of our members, and we have members in the LGBT community. That's important to know. It's important to be educated. If you're not, it's important to become educated, because we represent all. Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
Mine is also a comment. I just wanted to say thank you for the resources and for being so practical about the things we can do, the things allies can do, but also referring us to the great resources that USW has developed. Our bargaining team in our last round of bargaining referred to the transition guide. We got some great language in our collective agreement. So I want to encourage everybody here, like they're great resources as it relates to LGBTQ2SI plus issues, as well as the other groups that have been here as well. So feel free to reach out if you and your bargaining teams want to know what those resources are. Anita's pointed us in the direction of some, but there's some on some of the other issues that were raised over the course of the day. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Anita, I just wanted to give a shout out to Steel, to USW, and how collaborative your union is. When we first started a women's committee here in the society, we reached out to the women of Steel and said, actually at the OFL, we said, let's get a working group together. And it was only USW that responded. It was only Steel that sat down at the table with us and helped us form our committee and gave us information and really showed that solidarity of how we build this movement. And today is another example of Steel coming and sharing your resources and your experience. And we need more collaboration like that. So thank you for coming and sharing everything with us.
You're welcome. Thank you. Starting the Women of Steel program, I mean, it's something that I'm really proud of too, because there was women who started that before me, and they came out of Hamilton, the steel plant there. And I mean, our Constitution, so old. It's so old. But I mean, some of the language that's in the Constitution, but to get the Women of Steel into the Constitution, what took place was actually here at this hotel. In 2008, there was a conference here with over 1,400 women. And what women were tired of seeing was there was no representation on our executive board, right? And so you look at our executive board, but then you looked across our whole entire union, and there was not one woman that was in a position of power. Not one woman in a leadership role. So the second day of the conference, they kind of shut it down a little bit, and they leaflet the whole place, right? And so, you know, it just shows when you come together as a collective, and so they leaflet the whole place, and within 6 months, there was a new position created on the executive board, and Carol Landry out of District 3 out west was the first woman to sit on the executive board. And now we have 3 women that sit on the executive board. So it was that collective power that made that happen. It's the same thing that I'm seeing with the Next Gen, right? And our National Pride Working Group. We did start a international Pride Working Group, getting a little pushback there at the international, but listen, we're gonna continue to fighting, right? It's like the Next Gen, the Pride Working Group, and our diverse groups to see more people in leadership roles, and we gotta bring them along. And it's, you know, like our policy in District 6, the policy in District 6 is you are a staff rep, who's going to take care, who's going to be behind you. So each staff, it's a mandate that each staff has to mentor somebody. And it can't be just the guy that you go golfing with or the person that you sit and have a few beer with, right? You need to look at being inclusive in our union and find somebody from a different group to bring forward in our union. So I'm proud of that, and I hope it works. It's working, because I tell you, I was the only female staff coordinator for quite a while. I'm glad to say that, you know, after the COVID, we had a lot of retirements and stuff, and when I came back to our staff meeting, the senior staff sitting beside me says, like, I don't know anyone around this room. He said, where'd they come from? I said, well, we hired new staff. COVID happened, and, you know, staff retired, and we hired new staff. But I really don't know anybody. I said, no. What you're noticing is there's actually more women and people of color around the room. That's what you've never seen before. Because it was me and one other person, right? So that's the changes that we have. And, you know, these programs, and I think these talks and the education, like you said, is what's going to move our union forward. So thank you very much for your time.